All right, today we're going to be doing elimination using multiplication. So far we've been using addition and subtraction, okay? And so today what we're going to do is we're going to have problems where the x's won't match up and the y's won't match up. So there's no way to cross cancel something like we were used to in the last section. So zooming in here on number 1, when we're using multiplication, what we want to do is make one of them look the same. All right, now in this problem, you could make the x's look the same by multiplying 1 by 3 here and this by 2. So when I multiply, I would get a 6x and a 6x. Okay. However, there is an easier way to do it. And so when I'm looking at this problem here, I'm going to focus on the y's. And the only reason I'm going to focus on that is because I'll only have to multiply the top by -2. So I'm going to multiply the top here by -2. So that's going to give me -4x minus 2y equals -46. So again, I'm pretty much just distributing this to all three parts. Now I'm going to rewrite my second equation. So 3x plus 2y equals 37. And now we're just back to reviewing the previous lesson where the y's would cancel for us. So I have -x equals -9. And then I'm going to divide both parts by -1. And x will equal +9. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom back out here a little bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and take that 9, and just like we were doing earlier, I'm going to take it and plug it into one of the originals. It does not matter, again, which one you do. So I'm going to just plug it in the top one. So I'm going to have 2 times 9 plus y equals 23. So 18 plus y equals 23. Subtract the 18 off from both sides, and y equals 5. So my final coordinate point here will be 9, 5. Okay, I'm going to now skip down and do example 3 for us here. And when I'm looking at example 3, unfortunately, it's a little more complex because I can't just multiply one equation by something to get something to cancel here. So I'm actually going to have to go ahead and multiply both equations. So now if I'm looking at the x's here, I can choose to multiply the top by 3 and the bottom by -4. All right, and that would give me, if I rewrite that, 12x plus 9y equals 24. And then on the bottom, I'll have -12x plus 20y equals +92. Okay, so then when I do that, these will cancel. So I'll have 29y equals 116. So y will equal 4. Again, I'm going to go ahead and plug it back into one of the originals. If you really want to plug it into one of these, you can, but you're dealing with a lot littler numbers here, so it just makes it a little bit easier. So I'm going to go ahead and take this y, and again, I'm just going to put it back into the first. You can put it in the second. It doesn't really matter. So I'll have 4x plus 3 times 4 equals 8. So 4x plus 12, subtract the 12 off, and get -4. So now I'm going to divide by 4 and x. X will equal -1. So my final answer here again will be -1, 4. Now, another option you have up here, if I come back up here and look at the original problem, is if you don't want to cancel out the x's, you can choose to cancel out the y's. Okay, so to do that, I could multiply the top here by a 5, and I can multiply the bottom by 3, distribute it through, and still get to the same answer. So I take the 5 times all three parts, and then 3 times all three parts, and that will get me a +15 and a -15 in here in the middle, which will cancel it. Okay? All right, and now we're going to go ahead and skip down and do the next page here. We're going to look at example 5. All right, so now we're going to look at a word problem, and it says, a youth group and their leaders visited Mammoth Cave. 2 adults, 5 students in one van paid $77 for the Grand Avenue tour of the caves. 2 adults and 7 students in a second van paid $95 for the same tour. Find the adult price and the student price. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and say A is the adult price and S is the student price. Okay, and just like what we talked about in class, okay, each sentence is an equation. So on my first equation here, I'm going to have 2 adults plus 5 students equals 77. And on the second equation here, I'm going to have 2 adults and 7 students equals 95. Now, the nice thing about this is I have something that's matching all the way already. Now, we talked in class about just going through and changing our signs so that they will cancel. Recognize that that is really just multiplying by -1. That is what we're doing. So it's the same thing you were already doing it when we were multiplying by -1 or changing the signs. So the A's were going to cancel, and I've got -2s equals -18. So I divide, so S is going to be 9. So it's going to be $9 for the student. And again, we're going to take this and we're going to plug it in. I'm going to plug it in just at the top. So I'm going to have 2 adults plus 5 times 9 equals 77. So 2 adults plus 45. Subtract off the 45. And then divide by 2. So I'm going to get 16 for adults. Okay, so again, write your final answer in complete sentences. So the adults will cost $16 a ticket, and the students will cost $9 a ticket. All right, and that concludes our lesson for elimination using multiplication.